Hi, my name is Natalie, and today I would like to give you a little tutorial in Pincha Mayurasana, which is forearm stand. And this is a little bit of a tricky pose, and normally you would maybe have your headstand quite solid before you go into practice this one. But I will take you through some prep exercises and then how to do it, and then you can practice it on your own at home with a wall or without, but just to get some foundation. So what is important when we're doing a forearm stand is the fact that we're balancing on this part of our arm, and we want to sort of open the shoulders because we're having a sort of open chest here. And what is often happening is that we're too locked in our shoulders, so we're getting our weight too much to the front. So what we're going to practice on is to open our shoulders more so that we have a more stable foundation and can open up the chest. So let's first coming into a downward facing dog, placing your hands in line with your shoulders and your knees in line with your hips, spreading fingers wide and then tucking toes under, pressing into a downward facing dog. So since this pose or this posture of Pincha Mayurasana is quite challenging, I would suggest you have done at least Magic 10 or another practice before, just to be warmed up. But here are some prep exercises. So coming into your downward facing dog, taking a couple of breaths here, and then we will go into dolphin. So when I'm going into dolphin, I'm going to start externally rotate my arms and then bending my elbows at the same time, placing the underarms down to the floor. I'm gazing in between my hands and I'm making sure that my underarms are parallel to each other. So as if they were a train track on the floor. I'm pressing into my heels and I'm gazing to the front. Feeling how I'm opening in the under the arms and the shoulders. And then at the same time, pressing into the floor with the hands and extending the arms back into a downward facing dog. Maybe you want to just release your head a little bit if you got a little bit tense. And let's do one more dolphin. So again, externally rotating from the shoulders and then bending your elbows, placing the underarm down to the floor, gazing in between the hands, making sure that your underarms are parallel. And if you want to, you can also walk your feet a little bit together and closer in, just to see if you can go a bit deeper into the stretch. And then pressing into the hands, coming in to downward facing dog. Then rolling forward into a plank and placing your knees down to the floor, keeping the toes tucked under, and then just walking your fingertips to the front, cupping your hands, and then lowering the chest to the floor and reach the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Just getting that stretch into the shoulder. Coming up, and then I will show you one more shoulder opener exercise. So take a block and place it between my hands, making sure that this line on my hand is not broken in any sense, but it's long. So I'm using my block to push into it so that this line can be straight, because it's important for our balance. Then here, coming up to my knees, and I have a chair. So you can use any chair, but good if it's sort of a normal height. And then I'm placing my elbows on the chair, keeping my hands holding onto the block so that they are parallel. And then from here, I'm just opening my shoulders. And here, what is important is that you're not opening the chest. So the ribs, often when we are opening here, we want to sort of like let go of this whole package. But I want you to keep this package inside, but still opening. So that is the posture of both headstand and underarm stand, because we need to keep our core. And while we're keeping our core, we still need to open up, so not collapsing. So, thinking about that, coming here, and then holding the package in, and then extend through the spine, and stretch the shoulders. If you want to, you can gaze in between the hands just to try to simulate the posture we would do. And then, when you feel ready, and we'll just push this one a little bit to the side, making sure that I will not crash into it in case I fall. And then we're setting up for Pincha Mayurasana. So what I like to do when I'm doing Pincha is to actually use a block between my hands. And this is helping me to measure that my hands are not going in too close together, because often that is sort of the tendency when you start putting weight on your underarms. So I'm using my block and I'm having it like not all the way to the thumb, but a little bit up like this, holding it like this on the floor. So I'm having my palms of the hand on the floor and the block on the floor, supporting myself in being this parallel line. Coming here, again, placing the elbows parallel to each other, like we were in dolphin. Then I'm tucking my toes under. And maybe you want to stay here. Maybe this is your posture today. And you're just working on opening the shoulders and gazing in between the hands. If you feel comfortable to try, just walk your feet closer in. And then reaching one leg up, shifting the weight into the arms. And then reaching the other leg up, next to the leg that is up. And this is your balance point. And from here, making sure that you're pushing the underarm into the floor. So, I know that pressing up is maybe not the easiest way, but it's absolutely the best way for control. So, if you want to kick up and you're not used to do a Pincha Mayurasana, I would say use a wall. Because if you're kicking up and you're getting that little fear, we often open up and we're getting a little bit scared. So if you have a wall, you can still keep this together and then still just working on kicking up one leg at a time. I'm normally not kicking up at all because I like to feel the control. So, as I've showed you now, let's do it once together. Let's see if we can count for a few breaths up there. I would say it's not so easy for me either, but let's try. So again, placing your block. And also, if it's really challenging for you and your elbows are going to the side, you can also use a belt to keep your underarms or upper arms together. But then you need to make sure that your belt is not restricting your head in any sense. Anyway, so setting up. Forearm is on the floor, palms on the floor, and I'm using my block as a support. Walking the feet in. And then reaching one leg up. Maybe you want to stay here, or shifting weight into both underarms and reaching both legs up, pushing away from the floor, gazing through the hands. Staying for 3 more breaths. Inhale, oops, or not. It's actually really hard to talk and stay up there at the same time. So, let me do it one more time together with you. And maybe I'm not gonna count. Let's see if I manage. Coming up with control. Inhale, exhale 1, inhale, exhale 2, inhale, exhale 3, inhale, exhale 4, last breath, inhale, exhale 5, with control, coming down. And let's just relax into a child's pose, reaching the arms alongside the body. Forehead is resting on the floor. And if it didn't work today, just be very patient with yourself. This posture takes time. And whatever little step you do on the way is good enough. And then rolling up through your spine, vertebra by vertebra, coming to sit over your heels. Rolling your shoulders up to the ears and back, letting the shoulder blades release, sliding down the back. And that's it. Thank you for joining me in Forearm Stand.